Happy Monday, everyone. This is Martha with Nature Niche, and this week I want to talk to you about why it's important to offer water in the winter for wildlife. In the winter months, we often store our bird baths, fountains, don't want them to get damaged by freezing temperatures, um, but water is important for wildlife in the winter, and if you can provide open, fresh, clean water, you'll have a great diversity of wildlife in your backyard. Water is just as important in the cold months as it is during the summer per the National Wildlife Federation. And birds need water to drink, to keep their feathers clean, and some may even bathe in the winter. On winter days with no snow in your area, there really is very little water available except in vegetation or dripping off of icicles, especially if ponds, lakes, and rivers are frozen over. And birds may have to spend precious energy moving longer distances across the landscape to find that open water. So, where snow and ice is available, melting that frozen water will cost birds and other wildlife species precious calories and body heat. And backyard habitats offering fresh, clean, liquid water attract a wide variety of both avian visitors and other wildlife like squirrels and chipmunks. So, it can be as big of an attraction as your feeders. So I also want to talk about how to safely provide water in the winter. So the first thing you need to do is decide, do you want to purchase a heated bird bath or a submersible heater? Sometimes you hear those called immersion heaters or de-icers and those can be used in an existing bird bath. You always want to plug in whatever you're using, the self-contained heated bird bath or that de-icer unit in your existing bird bath. You want to plug that into a ground fault interrupted circuit or GFI outlet, and you want to make sure you're using, if you need an extension cord, an outdoor rated one, and keep those connections as sheltered as you can. If you and the reason for using those things is to prevent shocks and from the units from shorting out. If you don't have an outlet available, you can use several heavy duty plant saucers that you know won't crack with ice as it expands, and then replace them with fresh water each morning and kind of rotate them out throughout the day. That's a non-electrical method for providing fresh water. I do recommend using a thermostatically controlled unit that'll shut off if the water, once it reaches a certain temp, so they only run when they need to, and also a de-icer unit that'll shut off if the water dries up. The second thing you need to think about is location. You want to put your bath in a sunny spot where it's easily seen by the birds. Remember that distance of wanting to put feeders and baths within 3 feet of a window or more than 30 feet from windows to help minimize window collisions. And the bird bath I use, this is the Erva ground heated bird bath. It has a small rim, which is really easy for the birds to hang on to. If you have a bird bath with more slippery footing, harder rim to hold on to, you might consider giving the birds different perching options by placing stones in the bath or twigs across to give them different places to hold on to. And it's really important to keep your heated baths clean You should disinfect them regularly, just like your bird feeders. And you want to be careful not to submerge the heated dishes, the all-in-one units. You will fry the electronic components if you do that. So you can't submerge it in your 10% bleach solution like you would a bird feeder or a regular bird bath. But you can pour some of that 10% bleach solution that you've made up for cleaning your feeders. You can scoop that into the dish and let it sit for about 10 minutes. I think it's best if you're going to do that to, pull it inside where you can work comfortably and keep an eye on it and not worry about wildlife getting into that bleach water solution. You'll want to replace with fresh water every couple of days, and in particular, watch out for those really cold days. Often there's pretty low humidity, and on those bitter cold days, you'll actually get more evaporation than you might expect. So keep an eye on them on the cold days. And I just wanted to share kind of a interim cleaning thing that I do. You can see the water can get pretty scuzzy just in a day or two, and bird feces can accumulate in there, and you definitely don't want the birds drinking that water, transmitting diseases like salmonellosis. So I like using citrus-based wipes, but honestly, I think any kind of household disinfecting wipe will work for an interim clean in between your thorough disinfecting with 10% bleach solution. So every time I go to change the water, I do this process. I empty out the water and then take a wipe and clean off the bird bath with some scrubbing. Using soapy water or an enzymatic cleaner would do a good kind of interim cleaning as well. So I just take the wipe, and once I've rinsed out all the dirty water and bird feces, just try to wipe down the rim and the center of it really well. Where the cord enters the all-in-one units, you definitely don't want to submerge that area in water or you'll fry the electronics. And I just let that sit for a few minutes if you can. Do something fun, play with your dogs outside. Just give it a couple of minutes to work, and then you want to do a thorough rinse with fresh water. Make sure you get all of the residue rinsed off, and then refill with fresh water. One thing you never want to do with offering water in the winter is to add glycerin or antifreeze or salt. You don't want to add any other substance to the bird bath to keep it from freezing. If birds ingest too much of that, it can result in dangerously elevated blood sugar levels. A lot of those substances are quite poisonous to all animals, and glycerin in particular, it can also mat fur and feathers, which decreases insulation when the animals need it most and leave them susceptible to hypothermia. So I hope you find those tips for providing water to wildlife in the winter helpful, and enjoy having that wonderful resource in your backyard, and get to watch all the visitors that it attracts. Thanks, and have a good week.